Okay, so the last few lessons we've been working with SI units and imperial units and then different conversion factors, and this time we're going to work on converting SI and imperial factors or systems into each other. Now this is especially important in Canada because we are officially using the SI system, but unofficially we often use imperial units. And so things like weight we often give in terms of pounds, and height we normally give in terms of feet and inches instead of centimeters, which is what would be correct for SI units. And especially here in Vancouver or in Surrey, where we live so close to the border, it's important for us to have an understanding of imperial units also in terms of driving, because we often drive over the border, and of course all their signs are in miles per hour and their distances are given in miles. And so here we have the common imperial units, our SI units, and then the conversions between them. And I'm just going to increase the size a little bit for you. So imperial units are given in distances, things like miles, yards, and feet. And then you'll have inches over here. And then in SI we have kilometers, meters, and centimeters. Now if you remember from a few lessons ago, there are lots of SI units like decameters and hectometers. But the most common ones are kilometers, meters, and centimeters. And those are also the ones that have conversions between imperial and SI. So miles and kilometers line up, yards and meters. We also can put feet with meters, inches, and centimeters. Now if you see an equal sign, that means that's an exact conversion. So 1 inch equals exactly 2 centimeters. But you'll notice, and it's a little bit blurry here, but 1 mile is approximately 1.609. So this equal sign is exact. And then if you have a wiggly sign, it is approximate. Okay, so you'll notice that for these three, we have exact values. But for the first one, it's an approximate value. So if we look at our first question, how many meters are in 7 feet? And we're going to use unit analysis, which is our conversion factor. So we start with what we want, and then that equals what we have, multiplied by what we know. And that's our conversion factor. So we want feet. No, sorry. We want meters. Right? How many meters? We have 7 feet. And what do we know? We have to go back and look for a conversion that has feet and meters in it. So, looking for feet and meters, I'm going to be in this box here. And here we go. 1 foot is equal to 0.3048 meters. So I go back. I want to get rid of my feet. That means I should put feet on the bottom of my conversion. So for every foot, every 1 foot, there is 0.3048 meters. My feet will cancel out. I'll multiply 7 by 0.3048, and I end up with 2.1336 meters. And that's how I convert between meters and feet. So that's an exact conversion. So 7 feet is exactly 2.1336 meters. That's why I left all my decimal points and I didn't round up or down. So let's see something with an approximate conversion, our little squiggly wiggles or squiggly equal sign. So 1 meter is often given as 1.094 yards. So 1 meter is approximately equal to 1.094 yards. Okay, and you'll notice that we don't have this conversion up here. Okay, and that's why I've given it to you, and it's because it's an approximate conversion, so we prefer not to use approximate conversions if we can help it. and that's yards. So is this conversion exact? And this time we're going to use proportional reasoning. And if you remember, proportional reasoning is when we set two things as equal to each other. So in this case, looking for yards in, or sorry, meters in a yard. So we have 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. And we know that because it's told to us. 1 yard right here equals 0.9144 meters. Okay. And then we're going to make our unknown, so x equals the number of yards. Okay, so we'll have x yards, because we have yards over meters here, so we need yards over meters here per 1 meter, because we're looking for how many yards are in a meter. And then we cross multiply. Okay, so we have 1 times 1, and that equals x times 0.9144. If we divide both sides by 0.9144, we get that x equals 1.09361. And since we have to round our answer, the conversion 1 meter equals 1.094 yards is not exact. And when I say round it, we round it because we always want 3 decimal places. That's what all the others are given. And you'll have a total of 4 significant figures. Okay, so it's not exact. So therefore, 3 dots in a triangle means therefore. This is an approximate conversion. Okay, what we think of an approximate. And that's why we use the squiggly equal sign. When an exact conversion is needed, we have to use an exact comparison. Okay? And we can go either way. So we can go from imperial to standard and then back. Okay, so we can go both ways. But when we're estimating, we can put in approximate values. And so this is the way we speak in real life. So 1 inch is about 2.5 centimeters. Okay, so if you're ever in the fabric store and you're looking for ribbon, you say, I need 6 inches. It's like, 6 times 2.5, you know, it's going to be about 13 or 14 centimeters or whatever. And this is why when we're estimating, we can round things up or down. It makes it a little bit easier to work with. Same thing when you're in the car and you're driving and you want to know how far you are, and say you've been given the values in miles. You know that 1 mile is about 1.6 kilometers, right? So if you have to go 2 miles, that's about 3 kilometers, okay? So let's see what's next. We have some problems to work on. So convert between SI and imperial units. The speed of light in a vacuum is defined as 299,792,458 meters per second. Estimate the speed of light in miles per second. So we're going to estimate, which means if we go back to our conversion factors, all the way back to the front page, we can see that we can use this Comparison, because it's approximate. So since it's approximate and we're estimating, that works. Or since we're estimating, we can use approximate values. So we can write this down here. 1 mile is approximately 1.609 kilometers. And then let's start with our conversion factor. Okay, so first, since we start in meters per second, this is meters per second, and we want miles per second, and here we have kilometers. First, we have to convert meters to kilometers. So, convert meters to kilometers. Okay, if we have 299,792,458 meters. We want kilometers. In every kilometer, how many meters are there? 1,000. Those would cancel out. And so we end up with 299,792.45, or if we round this off to a whole number, 299,792 kilometers. Now, so number 2, we can convert kilometers to miles. Okay, so right now we have, and then we can add in our seconds again, because it will be miles per second and kilometers per second. And this is over here really kilometers per second. So if we want miles per second, and we have 299,792 kilometers per second, we want to get rid of our kilometers. So in 1 mile, there are 1.609 kilometers. So we take 299,792 divide by 1.609, and we end up with 87,370 miles per second. Okay, and we can put our little squiggly equal sign because it's approximate. Predict whether the actual speed of light in miles per second is greater than your estimate. Justify your prediction. So, what did we do in our estimate when we got to this point here? Remember how we rounded down? So we took that part out. So in our estimate, we rounded the speed down. Therefore, do you think that our speed, do you think it's lower or higher? Sorry, not our speed, our estimate. Do you think our estimate is a lower value or a higher value than the exact? So our estimate, because we rounded down, is less. Because we rounded down, so we'd actually have a little bit more. Less than the actual speed. Now, if we were told to calculate instead of estimate, we cannot use approximate conversions. So we have to use exact conversions. So in this case, if we go all the way back to our first page, there's no exact conversion. Let me clean this up a little bit. There's no exact conversion between kilometers, and miles. So we have to use two conversions. What we have to use is going from yards to meters and miles to yards. Miles to yards. Okay? So, how do we do that? First, we'll start by going from, so we have to use exact conversions. So, in order to do this, we'll have to do two steps. We have to convert miles per second, which is what we start with. Then we have to make it into yards per second. And then we have to go from miles to seconds. Miles per second, sorry. So if we start with what we want, and we want miles per second, and what we have, and we have 299,792,458 meters per second. Now we want our seconds to stay on the bottom, so we don't have to do anything to seconds. But now we have to get rid of our meters. So if we put meters on the top and yards on the bottom, our conversion from yards to meters is 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. Okay, and then that cancels out our meters. But now we have yards per second, and we want miles per second. So again, we leave our seconds alone, but we want to get rid of our yards. So we'll put our yard on the bottom, 1 mile, and in 1 mile there are 1,760 yards. Now our yards cancel out. Now the only units left I have on top are miles. The only units left on bottom I have are seconds, and we wanted miles per second. So now I just have to plug this into my calculator. So we take 299,792,458 and divide by 0.9144 and then divide by 1,760, and we would end up with 186,282.3971 miles per second. Then I just look back at my answer, and it asked for, or my question, it asked for the nearest miles per second. So we're just going to round this answer a little bit. So our next one, next to this is 3, so we can round down. So we'll actually equal 186,282 miles per second. Okay. And that's all we're going to do for today. Now, in your textbook, and I'll post these up, you're going to do these questions. I'll also post the answers. And then you will come for your in-class, your first in-class lesson on Thursday at, I think I said 10, or did I say 10:30? Let's go 10:15. Just in between. Okay, so come Thursday at 10:15. It will just be you and me here. We'll go through everything. Come with questions if you have any. And then I might post this partner assignment. I'm going to check it out and see if you can do it by yourself. And if not, we'll do it together in class on Thursday. So make sure you watch this last video, get all the textbook questions done, and then come to class at 10:15 a.m. on Thursday, and we'll start our first in-class lesson. See you then.